So I'm here with Dominick Cruz, #1 UFC Bantamweight fighter. You started off with Muay Thai or wrestling?
I started out wrestling when I was in high school and then moved on to MMA right out of high school, about 19.
You were 19 years old.
Yeah.
Now, how did you find that transition?
Well, what happened is I was coaching a local high school out of Tucson, Arizona, and one of the guys that I coached went into one of the local boxing gyms, kickboxing gyms, and was like, "Hey, you gotta try this out, coach. It's awesome. You'll love it." And I'm like, I don't know how to punch people. I wrestle, man.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Just try it." So I went in and tried one class, and it was free. Fell in love with it. Never stopped after that.
Perfect.
Never stopped.
So which is your preference now? The wrestling over the Muay Thai?
I like putting everything together.
Yeah.
That's my preference. I like being, I feel like in a straight wrestling match, a lot of people I can't beat. In a straight boxing match, some people I can't beat. In a straight kickboxing match, some people I can't beat. And when you mix everything together, it's hard to beat me.
Yeah, that's a sign of a champ.
Right.
Excellent. So what's in your sights for the future?
In the future, right now, all I have in my sights is Urijah Faber on July 2nd and beating him up. And other than that, that's all I'm thinking about.
Now, what types of training are you doing now to get ready for that fight?
Well, right now in Canada, I'm having to hop around. I'm training at a gym called Lynn Martial Arts out here in Toronto, Canada. And it's been good. I go down there and get a couple training sessions in the day in between my media. It's challenging. You gotta get your eating in, you gotta get your training in, you gotta get all the media and signings in, mix it all together, and that's just what I'm doing right now, and just staying focused.
Now, your belief is both, the ground, the wrestling, and the Muay Thai. Is there any particular area that you're focusing on?
For this fight, it's just the key is just going in there and making Faber fight my fight, making him adjust to my style, and making him try to find me, frustrating him, and getting in there and just doing what I've been doing, man. Confusing people, piecing them up, and taking them apart step by step, round by round.
So you're a thinker too?
Definitely a thinker.
Excellent. Best way to fight. Now, as far as the conditioning side of it, how much are you putting into your conditioning versus your technical side?
The key is just balancing it all out. You got to do everything. So I'll have my conditioning early in the morning on certain days, and then I'll mix. Everything kind of goes hand in hand. Your sparring becomes your conditioning, your wrestling and your grappling becomes your conditioning. But at the same time, I have a completely separate type of training, which is strength and conditioning and cardio. And I do those very often. Every day I'm working on something. Cardio is the key to fighting all together, in my opinion. Conditioning will make a coward of us all. If you're not in shape, it doesn't matter how good you are. If you get tired, you can't win.
You're done. Absolutely. Now, you changed weight classes. I understand you're bantamweight now, but did you start with a featherweight?
I started out at actually 155 pounds when I first started MMA, because they didn't have 135 or 145 pounds when I first started fighting. So I fought at 155 for 5 or 6 fights. Then I had my first fight at 145, and I won a couple there. But in the WEC, I started at 145 pounds. I fought Faber for the title about 4 years ago. That was my first loss. And then I dropped down to 135 pounds after that, and I haven't lost since.
How'd you find that transition? That's a lot of weight to change.
Well, to me, when I fought 145, I took that fight at 145 pounds because I was fighting at 155.
Yeah.
So I was still in the transition point of figuring out what weight was good for me at that point in my career. 145 was better than 55, but it still wasn't my weight class. 135 pounds, I call it my home now, And now that I'm at 135, I'm actually 10 pounds heavier now fighting at 135 than I was fighting at 145 even back 4 years ago. So my body's changed a lot. I've learned a lot, and I'm just working at trying to become a complete fighter.
Training with Pros is presented by New Blood Fight Gear, Harley-Davidson, Canada. Avis Budget Group, Sports Specific Training, SSTCanada.com. Promotional consideration provided by SureDog.com.